Jurassic Park by Michael Chricton, published in 1990, is a best-selling action and adventure science fiction novel so engaging and thrilling, it was almost immediately adapted to film and released by Steven Spielberg in 1993, breaking a number of worldwide box office records. My only knock is that Chricton gets a bit preachy at times with the science, but the reading experience is still fast, fun, and compelling. While there is much consistency between the book and the film, there are enough differences also, for me, that I would recommend that those who were satisfied with the film not to avoid also reading the book. I recommend Jurassic Park to those who are not necessarily science fiction fans. This is an action and adventure novel with tense and exhilarating moments. I recommend Jurassic Park for those interested in the biosciences. The concept of resurrecting extinct animals with new DNA harvesting technology is current, relevant, plausible, and interesting. Finally, I recommend Jurassic Park for science fiction readers who like philosophical engagement. The novel looks heavily at chaos theory and presents questions like, because science can do this thing, should it? If you've read or you're planning to read Jurassic Park, let me know in the comments. Likewise, if you've read the book and you also watched the film, let me know which one you preferred and why. Please also click the like button and the subscribe button to support this channel. I expect most already know the premise of this book, so I'll be liberal with the spoilers. I will at least avoid spoiling the ending. The general premise is that a billionaire who's really into dinosaurs and really into money hatches a plan to combine the two. Eccentric billionaire John Hammond has recruited a scientific team to breed, using discovered DNA, previously extinct dinosaurs. He's acquired an island off the coast of Costa Rica where the dinosaurs are raised to be eventual attractions in a theme park like no other. Given advances in our own modern day capabilities to read and replicate DNA and clone animals, this premise is very believable. The biggest obstacle for Hammond and his team is, of course, the acquisition of 60 or 70 million year old dino DNA. Chricton addresses this in a clever and acceptable enough to the story way, enabling an exciting thrill ride of a novel to commence. Chricton packs the novel with a cast of characters perfectly suitable to eventually easily adapt the novel to film. First, in a book about dinosaurs, you're going to need a paleontologist, and so there are paleontologist Dr. Alan Grant and his paleobotanist graduate student, Ali Sattler. Hammond is, of course, the eccentric billionaire financier who seems to have assembled all of the right and necessary people. There is scientist Dr. Wu, who Hammond enlists to run the DNA cloning, testing, refining, etc. He brings in Robert Muldoon, a renowned wildlife expert, sort of the Crocodile Dundee, Bear Grylls elite outdoorsman of the crew, and then other experts not limited to a veterinarian and a security specialist. Hammond has done it. He successfully brought these creatures to life, and inevitably the park, a park beyond what anybody has ever seen before, will be open to the public. Just a few more things have to happen first. Coming in for a visit are Regis, a lawyer for Hammond's investors, and Ian Malcolm, a celebrity mathematician famous for his ideas on chaos theory. Hammond's investors, with good reason, have become skeptical about what Hammond is doing and have sent Regis to check things out and then shut it all down if necessary. Malcolm is the consummate cynic, warning everybody of the inevitability of the chaos to come. There are also some annoying kids in the story, and we'll get to that later. Anybody with an imagination will probably assume Malcolm's predictions of chaos in the form of death and destruction are much more likely than Hammond's assurance that everything is just hunky-dory. So here's what I liked and disliked about Jurassic Park, with spoilers. Like number one, the action and the suspense. I've read this book previously and I've watched the movie a few times. Even still, the book still had me at times on the edge of my seat. Chricton really succeeds in building suspense and heightening the stakes. Like number two, the pacing of the suspense. It's hard to go into this book unaware of what's going to happen. Chricton's writing feels very disciplined. The book begins with children being bitten by lizards on the beach. This is in Costa Rica, not on the dinosaur island. We all know that these are likely escaped dinosaurs. Chricton strings this along, and while he could have easily revealed this quickly, he doesn't. He strings this along and takes his time with it. I think for me, this set a tone that felt less gimmicky than I might have felt otherwise. Like number three, I'll make this a book versus movie thing. The book felt more believable than the movie. There are still leaps that we have to make to buy in, but on the surface, DNA and the amber breeding the dinosaurs, the threat of dinos getting off of the island, it's not hard to get on board. The movie just went a little bit more overboard, but both are great. Dislike number one, also movie versus book. The first reveal of the dinosaurs is superior in the movie. It's awe-inspiring. In the book, it's rather lackadaisical, it's underwhelming, it was a missed opportunity. Dislike number 2, sticking with the reveal. It's such a missed opportunity. We're perfectly set up anticipating the moment that Dr. Grant will see and thus learn of the cloned dinosaurs. Instead of something breathtaking, the characters are told of the dinosaurs almost nonchalant, and then soon after they see, with little fanfare, their first dinosaur or evidence of dinosaurs. Like number 4, the book spends a decent amount of time on the science, and again, a lot of this is not unfamiliar in our present scientific pursuits. Biological science and genetic engineering are of course center stage, but there's also a healthy dose of Malcolm's chaos theory, which is a lot of fun, and it applies throughout the events of the story. Dislike number 3, the science as relates to Dr. Grant's work on the dig sites. This is not an area of expertise for me, but I'm pretty clear that the lack of delicacy with which they were digging fossils was shockingly naive. Dislike number 4, the children. When I think of the book without kids and ask myself, what might children add to this? It's easy to imagine the story being more haunting with higher stakes. Unfortunately, these characters are not handled well. They were cliche and they felt more like distractions. I found myself wanting to yell at my book, "Be quiet, kids! I can't hear the scientists talking." Dislike number 5, character development didn't work for me. The characters were only different from one another because of what they did and not because of who they are. The only interesting character is Malcolm because he is consistently the cynic, and I know where his cynicism comes from. Like number 5, the messaging. Whether it's nature finds a way, science must find the right balance with ethics, with great power comes great responsibility, and perhaps my favorite passage from the book, you know what's wrong with scientific power? It's a form of inherited wealth. Most kinds of power require substantial sacrifice by whoever wants power. There's an apprenticeship, a discipline lasting many years. President of the company, black belt in karate, spiritual guru. Whatever it is you seek, you have to put in the time, the practice, the effort. You must give up a lot to get it. Now, what is interesting about this process is that by the time that somebody has acquired the ability to kill with his bare hands, he has also matured to the point where he won't use it unwisely. So that kind of power has a built-in control. The discipline of getting the power changes you so that you won't abuse it. But scientific power is like inherited wealth, attained without discipline. You read what others have done and you take the next step. There is no discipline lasting many decades. There is no humility before nature. And because you can stand on the shoulders of giants, you can accomplish something quickly. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Everts, and this is Fit to Be Read.
Lying in, putting you the bed. Open his jaws, do you run or stay? Then you think to yourself, is he going to see me? 20 feet tall and a way to get free.